Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 8 from Marvel Comics. So this is the best thing coming out of Marvel right now. Actually, probably the best thing coming out of like any comic book publication right now. So in this issue, we get the formation of the Ultimate Sinister Six, as well as possibly the first appearance of Venom, maybe. I'll explain my theory on that and leave it up to you to decide if you agree with it or not. So in this issue, we start off with Mary Jane and Peter Parker basically being parents, which is something that I freaking love. It's been forever since we've seen Peter Parker and Mary Jane happily together, and to see them with kids is just awesome. So it is Richard's birthday today, and they're going to be doing family things. So Mary Jane is going to go swing by, pick up the kids, and take them to the arcade where Richard's going to have his birthday party. Meanwhile, it's up to Peter to go grab Ben and pick up the cake and some candles and stuff. So we just kind of see them being the family. As Mary Jane leaves, Peter looks at the orb that contains his suit. And one thing you'll notice is that it's a black orb. Some of the tendrils kind of coming out of it just reminds me a bit of the symbiote. But he kind of stares at it for a moment. He's like, no, not today. We have a brand new, very strict no costume policy at Parker birthday parties. And then that's when the orb talks to him. Says, well, that's disappointing, but tell the kids I said happy birthday. For anyone who doesn't remember, the orb is basically it's like a nanotech suit of some kind that Peter uses to become Spider-Man, but it also has a AI version of himself. So in the last issue, Dr. Octavius was like, hey, I can program this AI to have a personality, and you can pick anybody that you want. So who do you want? And Peter said, well, I usually talk to myself a lot, so can I just have an AI version of myself? And so the AI is basically Peter, or talks like Peter. And Peter's confused at first because he's like, how are you able to talk when I'm not wearing the suit? And the AI is like, I talk all the time, Peter. I believe we've even had conversations. Like, and it jokes with him. It's like, right now, I'm not actually talking out loud. You're imagining this. Peter's like, what? He's like, nah, I'm just kidding, dude. I'm able to, like, I'm a perfect replica of your psyche, housed in a totally independent, completely adaptable Pico shell. So, of course I can talk. And this is where things get a little bit ominous, where Peter's like, okay, well, what else can you do that I don't know about? And it responds with, oh, I can do all kinds of things, Peter. And Peter just kind of puts the ball back down. He's like, well, I gotta go, but we'll talk about this more later on. And the orb says, like, I look forward to it, and please remember to wish the kids happy birthday for me. And then as he's leaving, we just kind of get like almost a close-up of the ball. I'm like, I think this is Venom. This is just my theory, but I have a feeling this is going to be Venom. Like the fact that it's black, and when Peter first used it, he had the black suit on, which kind of looks like the Venom suit before he changed it to the iconic red and blue. Just some of the way it acts. I don't know. I feel like maybe him picking himself as a AI was maybe a wrong decision. I don't know if maybe this thing is going to start becoming like, I mean, it's already sentient, but I mean, to the point where it's going to want Peter's life and it's going to try to basically take over him. Could be completely wrong, but yeah, something about this conversation just really set me off. And I'm like, I feel like that's Venom. And then we have a flashback to 3 weeks ago where the cliffhanger in the last issue was Iron Man showing up, Tony Stark. And so Tony Stark is talking to Peter Parker and Harry Osborn. And basically, he kind of just briefly explains the suits. He just kind of says that like it was the last breakthrough my father made before, well, it was the last thing he made. The Picotech is revolutionary. Like, even I don't know how to replicate that. He decided that, you know, when we were going to send these things back in time, I was going to send something special for someone special. Like, each person was going to get their own special thing. You're special, Peter. When it came to the Maker, who is basically the big head villain of this Ultimate verse, when it came to his list of people who we need to prevent from being heroes if I want to take over, Peter Parker was at the top of the list. And Tony Stark just explains that there's a database that exists. When the guy who built this great society was eliminating all potential resistance or opposition, there's a handful of heroes that he deemed mission critical to erase from history. They're the ones who had to go top of the list, and you were the very top. Which I wonder if this is also kind of like a meta commentary on the fact that, like, if you just think, okay, the maker is Marvel, who's the top of the list, it would be Peter Parker's Spider-Man. He's the most iconic character in the Marvel universe, I would say. He is the one that usually in the past was the one that sold the most issues. Like, of all the heroes, Spider-Man was usually always at the top of the charts. Could just be me, like, just thinking into this, but I wonder if that's also like a little meta commentary. There's a little bit of a, I don't want to say beef, but there's a little bit of tension between Tony Stark and Harry Osborn, where he's like, I'm not sure who you're supposed to be in that stolen suit of armor, and Harry's like, you don't need to worry about that. But Tony just kind of stares at him for a moment and then touches the armor, and the helmet disappears. And he's like, oh, I know that face. You're Harry Osborn. You stole my birthright. He basically just says, the maker is going to return in a little over a year, so you best get ready for him. And before he leaves, Harry asks, where was I on the list? And Tony responds with, you aren't on it at all. And I wonder if this is going to lead to Harry's downfall later on. Like, one, you got the AI of his dad constantly like berating him while he's wearing the suit. And then maybe you could have like a bit of inferiority complex where Peter is at the top of the list, meanwhile you didn't even make the list. I hope that's not the case, just because I would like to see Peter with a best buddy, like a best friend. Feels like that's something that we haven't really gotten. Yeah, we've had Peter team up with people, and yeah, he has like friends, but I can't recall a series where Peter actually had like a best friend who helped him out when it came to crime fighting and stuff, and also just like someone to hang out with outside of the crime fighting, like on a consistent basis. Again, like there are moments where he's like had buddies and he's teamed up and hanged out and stuff, but nothing like on a consistent basis. So it'd be kind of cool just to have like this version of Peter where it's like he has the awesome wife, he has the great kids, he has the superpowers, now he has a best friend. Like things are going good for him, and like all the drama and stuff is like outside sources. Because it's been a long time since we've kind of had that. Oh, it's been a long time since we've had like any kind of like just happy Peter. I mean, I haven't really touched the current run too much. I saw a little bit of it and I was like, nah, I'm done with this. It's weird how much of a joke Marvel treats Peter Parker when it's like he's your number one guy. He's your most popular character. He's he's your most beloved character. He's one of the most beloved fictional characters ever. Spider-Man, Peter Parker. And like they just constantly treat him as a joke. They constantly just have him just be anti-Peter. Like Peter's supposed to be a really smart dude. They don't have him being smart. They have him constantly being like just made fun of. No one sees him as being heroic. It's really sad. Which is why I love this series so much. Is because they actually treat Peter pretty well. So I'm gonna be skipping stuff, but basically Peter goes to get cake with Ben, and J. Jonah Jameson joins up. I do like this little gag right here where the arcade that they're going to just says arcades, and then it has arcade on the on the logo. So yeah, Peter is playing Dance Dance Revolution with his daughter, which is sweet. And we have like an interesting moment between Richard and J. Jonah Jameson, where J. Jonah Jameson, he tagged along because Uncle Ben's like, I think he's just lonely. And J. Jonah Jameson tells Richard that he tags along with Ben because he thinks Uncle Ben is lonely. And we just have this moment where he explains that, people get lonely. I think they're good at hiding it. And I'm not lonely now because I'm a very interesting man. And everywhere I go, people love me, which is obviously not true. Then he says, but when I was your age, I used to be lonely all the time. Like, I didn't have many friends at school. I was off reading in the library or in the back of the class. You know anybody like that? Richard says, yeah, maybe. Because that's the kind of person that Richard is. Richard is someone that's constantly reading. He's like a bookworm. And it doesn't seem like he has too many friends. I mean, even here at the arcade, this is a birthday party for him. And he's pretty much by himself. And J. Jonah Jameson says, well, it's different. Like, getting a job will do that. You'll learn about purpose and responsibility, and that colors how you view things. And he basically says, hey, I wrote a book and I want to give this to you. And it's a book you wrote, says I never lie. Life lessons from J. Jonah Jameson. And he explains how a couple years ago he wrote it, And he sent it to a bunch of publishers, but no one wanted it. So he self-published it himself. He said, and now it's yours. And Richard's like, oh, thanks, Mr. Jameson. That's pretty cool. And I don't know. I just kind of like this. I always like, because J. Jonah Jameson, like, he's a hard ass, but I like when we get to see that he's actually not that bad of a guy. Like, I love the moments where he gets threatened. Like, it was in the movie, but it was also in the comics where he, like a villain comes up to him and is like, who's the one that keeps taking these pictures of Spider-Man and stuff? Like, sell them out to me. And J. Jonah Jameson refuses. Even when his life is on the line, he refuses to sell out any of his employees and stuff. Like little humanity moments like that. So I like the fact that we get to see that here. But I'm going to be skipping more stuff. We basically get to see the Sinister Six. So we see Mr. Negative. He's part of the Sinister Six. We have Black Cat. Not Felicia Hardy Black Cat, but OG Black Cat. We have Kraven. We have Mysterio. And there is a little moment here at Mysterio where Black Cat's like, hey, Mysterio, have you gotten shorter since our last meeting? And Mysterio's like, of course not. And at first it's like, oh, this could just be like a throwaway gag. I wonder if they're setting up something here. I don't know. It feels like a line that should have a purpose. Like, why else would you put this here? I mean, I guess it could be just a quick little gag. Like, oh, you appear to be smaller. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's because Mysterio is actually not the Mysterio that the rest of these villains are familiar with, but rather someone else. Maybe like a child, or not a child, but Mysterio's offspring, who's now an adult, but smaller. Maybe just could be someone else. I don't know. I feel like there's like a setting up here. But yeah, we also have Mole Man as part of the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six is basically Mysterio, Black Cat, Mole Man, Kraven, Mr. Negative, and Kingpin. So it's interesting to see how that's going to turn out. But that's basically Spider-Man issue number 8. We get Peter living the family life. We get the formation of the Sinister Six. We get the flashback with Tony Stark and the group, and explaining the Maker and why Peter got the suit in the first place. And just again some more seedlings of things to come, like Harry possibly developing some kind of inferiority complex, the possible appearance of Venom. Like Venom could be here as the AI. I want your opinion. What do you think? Do you think the AI is going to end up becoming Venom, or go the whole Venom route, or do you think there's something else here? It would seem kind of weird for the suit that was given to Peter to make him a hero goes bad, unless Dr. Octavia messed with it. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of my theory at first. I'm thinking that this possibly could be Venom. I'm hoping I'm wrong though. But there you go. There's Spider-Man issue number 8. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.